Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is going to be our recap for Double Agents, episode 16. We are past more episodes than what I ever expected with this season. As always, my name is Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, what's up?
And my best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight?
And we are all
in the same room.
Together.
Good synergy, guys.
It's real sublime.
It is easy, much easier to record all together. It's just, obviously, we've been in the middle of a pandemic. Everything's gone digital. You know, we got to do what we got to do. But I will say, if you don't follow us on Patreon or on social media, first of all, do that. At Smashing Heads on Twitter, at Smashing Heads Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. If you were paying attention, really last minute yesterday, we got news that we were recording an interview, and it just so happened that Wes was available, and he's like, let's do it tonight. And we were like, okay, well, we were supposed to record Double Agents tonight and then All Stars tomorrow, and now it's tomorrow, and we haven't recorded Double Agents until just now, and then we haven't even watched or recorded All Stars at this point.
But the change is well worth it.
Well, yeah, it was well worth it. I mean, if any of you have not listened to the first West podcast that we did 2 years ago, it ended up being 2 parts because it was so long. Guess what?
This one's even longer.
This one's even longer.
And even more ridiculous.
And even less challenge related.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm going to split it up into 2 parts or not. That's on the table because it's so long. I may do the audio version in 2 parts and then do the video all as 1 part because this is a video one as well. But I'm going to have to do a disclaimer at the top of the show because, like, literally it was just a bit that he did where he was just like, I'm not going to talk about challenge stuff. And I would try to steer it there, and he's like, no. And eventually we did talk some challenge stuff. Like, again, his whole idea was it's funny for me to come on and not talk about it.
I got the joke.
Well, we all got the joke.
I know, but I really got the joke.
Congratulations.
Yes. So if you want to get upset and offended at anybody, get upset and offended at him.
Yeah, so last time...
And he would allow that.
Yeah, of course.
He thrives off of it.
Last time we recorded with him, he came in hot and heavy at Jake, going right after him. This time... he chose me to be the brunt of his aggression. Although
you didn't see it coming.
I didn't.
You were ill prepared for it.
I kind of forgot about it. And so, you know, it's by far the most unique interview we've ever done. I think it may be the most polarizing, especially to new listeners, because the first half of it is not what you're expecting. I'll say that.
We have done some really fun interviews over the years.
Yeah.
And he is, I said this last night on the pod we recorded with him, to me, he is the most fun to have on because it's just so easy to just talk about literally anything.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think we can actually say this, like, we're friends. Like, legitimate friends.
You'll hear in the interview the percentage that we're in his life.
Yeah.
As far as...
apparently at the beginning, and then at the end it changes.
But
yeah.
I don't... I mean, that's not a crazy...
spoil anything
yeah,
yet,
that's not a crazy statement, though. I mean...
No, like, literally, he spent 3.5 hours with us last night. And just hanging out on Zoom, not talking challenge stuff, just kind of deep diving and psychoanalyzing our lives for a while, and then trying to use what he does to people on the challenge and get in their heads. And I was like, Wes, I know what you're doing. I was like, I see it coming. I didn't at first, and then I caught on to it. And then you just got to roll with it because we've seen him do it on TV for how many years now. But again, it does feel like the most, we're just hanging out with one of our friends. And I think you all will enjoy it. I hope you all enjoy it. I know our patrons are all going to love it.
Yeah, because they're in on the joke from 2 years ago.
Yeah, so it will go up on Patreon first. I actually did the rough edit tonight, and I just have to film the intro and outro that's like, hey, if this isn't what you're expecting, like, give it some time. Like, just lean into it. Because I feel like if you come in with the right mindset, you're going to have a lot of fun. I feel like if you come in wanting to hear him break down the intricacies of season 36, you're going to
be sorely disappointed.
Yeah, it's not that type of podcast.
But here's what I'll say is, like, you can get the breakdowns from most other pods, right? what is the one thing most people say about our pod? That it feels like they're just sitting down with a bunch of their friends talking about the challenge.
And
We actually had somebody say that like a few days ago. They were like, this is why I love listening to your podcast, because it just feels like I'm in a room with my friends.
It was a handful of our patrons on our Slack group talking about the last Redemption House, which is our Patreon exclusive podcast. Which, by the way, shout out patreon.com/smashingheads podcast, because, again, they get all the exclusive stuff.
Yeah, if you want to hear me call out Han for some of her nonsense, that's where you go to hear it.
I had some people come to my defense.
I'd breathed in and swallowed something weird, but
cool.
We do need to say, since we've recorded with Wes, we've got 2 new patrons, so we always do a shout out there.
Give me the names.
Gabriel.
Should I shorten it or just full on Gabriel?
That's what it says. So I'm not.
Well, you know, he dropped in the comments for the
That's what was funny.
Hey, Wes is coming on section. He wanted a shout out from Wes,
and he got it. Just spoiler alert.
Yeah,
he got it.
Not only are you going to get a shout out from Wes, my guy. Hey, Gabriel. How you doing tonight? And hey, Joy. How you doing tonight?
The last time we did that with one of our new patrons, she messaged us on Patreon and said, Jake saying that is now my ringtone.
Well, hold on.
Which is really funny.
Let me fix that if you want to make it a ringtone.
Okay. Can you go...
Gabriel, how you doing tonight? Cut.
That's just a turkey. That is just a straight up turkey.
Well, I gotta stick. Hold on. I gotta stick with that one now.
You broke her.
Why she squeak when she laughs?
That's such a stupid noise.
It squeaks when you bang it. That's the joke. That's all.
I'm just waiting on you to give Joy her clean cut of this.
Okay. Well, Han's gotta calm down.
No, let me. I'm just gonna hold my breath.
Let me hold
it. Yeah.
Hey, Joy. How you doing tonight?
Great. So clip that. Do whatever you want with it. She can't even do it. So again, the podcast will be on Patreon first. It'll be video and audio format, and then it'll go. I'm trying to do our plugs, guys. It'll be everywhere else on Monday. So, also it'll be ad free on Patreon, and also they got to all ask questions. So there's a lot of reasons to join our Patreon. Patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast.
My face hurts.
I'll give you a new ringtone.
Yeah, Jake will make you his own ringtone. Yeah. Is there anything else we need to do? I guess
Merch.
Han loves plugging the merch.
I love to plug the merch because I love when people will like get merch and then take selfies or just post pictures of them in or with their merch on social media and tag us, because I just love to see it. It makes my heart so super deeper happy. So smashingheadspodcast.com/merch or /store to pick up your merch today. Right now. Pause the podcast
you can't get it
right
today.
now.
Like,
pause the podcast right now and go to smashingheadspodcast.com/store.
Yes, and that'll redirect you to our Threadless page, and you will not get it today, but you can get it on the way today. And if you're familiar with the USPS, it's very behind in most places, so just bear with us on that, even though that's not our fault. So other than that, again, we are going to watch All Stars tonight too, apparently. We'll see. Jake got here later than he expected.
Hey, you can thank McDonald's for that.
You didn't go to
McDonald's. Didn't go to McDonald's.
So here's what happened. I went to Wendy's. Mm-hmm. They weren't moving. The line just wasn't moving for a solid 5 minutes. No joke.
Uh-huh.
And it was already wrapped around.
Yeah.
So I said, screw it. I'll just go to the McDonald's right before I get to y'all's place.
The one across the street?
By the way, Hannah hasn't seen this because Hannah didn't join the West podcast until halfway through. I was like, Jake, do you want to intro this podcast? And he was like, yeah, let me do it. And he's like, welcome to Special Hits Podcast. My name is Zach. And I was like,
for real. It really happened and not a joke at all.
It was not a bit.
No, I legitimately was like, my name's Zach and I'm joined by my best friend.
Yeah.
Like, no joke.
I know.
And I was not kidding. I was not trying to make a funny. Like, that just...
I was like, nope. And then he caught it and Wes was like, what?
I don't know what happened.
So
What the heck?
it broke him. I threw it to him and he froze.
Well, I didn't get a heads up. He just, you want to open it? And I'm like, my name's Zach.
Yeah.
I didn't know you'd have to think about what your name is.
I didn't either. I just figured he'd be like, hey, we're joined by Wes. So anyway, look, you got that to look forward to. I'm hoping it'll be on Patreon Friday or Saturday, and then everywhere else at the
He
beginning of
didn't
next
let
week.
you finish your McDonald's story.
Oh, yeah. So McDonald's took a long time, too.
That's it. That's the end of the story. There's nothing else.
That's why we plug Chick-fil-A.
Eat fresh.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a 1 hour episode, so I don't feel like
We filled that extra time with the nonsense.
Well, we're still kind of at our normal
Nonsense
get into time. Yeah, we're in our nonsense window. But it's only an hour long, and I feel like there's not gonna be a lot of fantasy stuff tonight.
Fantasy points are scarce. They really
Yeah.
are. And you
The
know what?
episode was scarce.
I'll tell you why. Zach, I said this to you tonight. The more this season has lingered on, the less impressed I've become with this season.
Yes.
And
I was bored this episode.
Here's part of the reason. We've seen it. We've seen it in a lot of different seasons where said alliance will just dominate the show.
Yeah.
The problem this season is that said alliance
Is the most boring.
extremely boring.
Yeah.
Between Fessy, Casey, up until this episode, Amber B,
Nani is somehow higher than Amber B in their hierarchy, even though she's not part of Big Brother. Yeah,
incredibly boring.
Yeah, you have the least personality people that are like running the show, and it's only because they cast 4 Big Brother people, and
Who we've come to find out, aside from Paulie, all the others we've seen, for the most part,
Don't
are
undersell Josh.
boring. Oh, yeah.
oh, we got
Other than Josh.
we got a
Josh-
good discussion
Josh is
with
great.
Wes about Josh. I think you're gonna be
Josh is great TV, but aside from Paulie and Josh, are there any other Big Brother people that have been very interesting?
Jose, Natalie, Negrati. Like these are very
Yeah, but I don't even remember anything
yeah.
from her.
That's the thing. Like they're not names that you like made an
She made a
impression on.
final.
She did.
I don't even remember that.
It's just again, it's whatever. I've not been impressed with the Big Brother people as far as just entertainment wise. Josh is probably the most entertaining Big Brother person, other than Paulie, and they both are villains.
I would say Josh is more entertaining.
I think it's a different
because
level
he's
of
going to
it.
throw you for a loop.
No, Josh just feels like he's the loop master, and everyone's living within a loop. Paulie just is like, I'm the best athlete in the world, and I'm going to defeat everyone. And
It's
Josh,
Lions mentality.
the Lions mentality.
Is he still doing that?
I don't know. He's a bobsledder now.
Yeah.
So anyway, only 1 hour episode tonight. I think we haven't watched All Stars yet. I think the three of us are going to enjoy All Stars more than Double Agents.
Really?
I don't know what happens on the first episode, but from the just a little bit of talk I've seen on Twitter reviews, first episode was great.
Yeah. And again, like it feels like there's going to be the people we like, and I think Ashley Mitchell even tweeted this. She was just like, "Oh, so you're telling me putting entertainers on a show and making it physical is better than taking just like really good athletes that aren't any fun to watch?" And at a certain point, it's like as much as we want it to be insanely competitive and the top of the top,
You got to have people that are good on TV.
You got to have watchable people.
Give me the crazy people.
I agree.
Give me the crazy people.
And so
because you know what? If you made a show just consisting of crazy people, the athleticism balances out.
Yeah,
You don't notice it as much.
I feel like if you lean too
you have a
heavy,
point.
I feel like if you lean too heavy into these are just incredible athletes, you're going to start getting people like Lolo, who is a crazy person, but she's not fun to watch,
No.
and also
Not
was
fun at all.
a horrible competitor. And so I don't know. You got to find the balance somewhere. Just find people who are entertaining that also can do athletic
Do
things.
you think that Viacom and MTV, with their casting, they have started taking the challenges, the fifth professional sport thing a little too seriously, and they're trying to become that?
I don't know. I think
And that's why they're focusing more on like casting Olympians and Ninja Warriors and
I don't know. Here's the thing. We've had a really solid run of seasons from War of the Worlds on. It's actually been really good.
Yeah.
Especially compared to like some of the like down years or whatever. But I do think we've kind of hit a tipping point where we got to decide the direction we're going in, and I don't know. Double Agents on paper seemed awesome, and I think we all were super excited about it for about the first half, and then like you get into these dailies, and then like no one competes. There's no consequences for losing.
It feels like it's plateaued.
There has been, what's the most memorable thing from this season?
What's 8 times 9?
Sure. But that's my point.
My thing was going to be Josh and Devin getting in a fight.
Yeah.
That's the most exciting thing
There's
that's
not
happened
been
on the
anything
show.
competitive-wise.
Nothing.
It's been like, wow.
We just watched, like...
Other than Leroy and Jeyyy, I guess, where Leroy just blew him out of the water.
Yeah.
And Jeyyy competed really well.
And I guess...
We've had some miserable eliminations.
Yeah.
I mean, even the
elimination right wasn't good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, like, Hall Brawl is arguably the greatest elimination of all time. And
It's the most iconic for sure.
We have seen Amber be in it twice.
Against the 2 smallest other girls in the house.
The most pathetic display of Hall Brawl we've seen twice this season.
If you were new to the show and this is what you've seen, other than Fessy and Nelson, I guess, early on, you'd be like, why does everyone care about this? Like, why is this a big deal?
And like, I don't know, man. I don't want to jump ahead, but like, during that elimination, like you had like multiple competitors talking about how like, Amber B's now won 2 eliminations. She's up for Rookie of the Year, and it's like nothing she's done has been impressive.
I still would say Natalie's Rookie of the Year, even though she had to go home.
Nothing she has done has been impressive.
Natalie's the only rookie that I can recall just as of right now, other than Nam, maybe.
Okay, I was ready to jump in.
But Nam didn't really impress. He's just a nice guy. He's just a stone and a rock and ice and all those things.
Yes, and like ice.
Natalie looked to be the best rookie competitor, and unfortunately she had to go home for a medical reason. But this rookie class fell apart fast, and again, let's get into it. Big T wins last elimination. She's coming into the house. She gets to touch the gold skull. They really teed up right after that. Amber B in confessional talking about Casey. Like, I'm glad Casey and me are on the same page. I'm in this great alliance. I know she would never stab me in the back. And I was like, well, clearly that's going to happen later on in the episode.
Yeah.
Like, they teed that up so much.
After seeing the elimination tonight and how handily Amber B beat Big T, I don't think it was close.
I don't think it was close either.
I think any other elimination, Anissa would have beat Big T.
I agree. Oh,
because
that's even
what Anissa said at last week. She said, whatever the
let's run through the eliminations.
The eliminations. She said that was the only one she didn't want.
Hall Brawl, Anissa wins. Clearly,
Anissa wins.
The one where you're pulling each other on the rope, like Wes and Devin, or like Teresa and Casey. Anissa wins. The one where you're swinging for the rings and then a puzzle.
Anissa wins.
I think that's the closest, but I think Anissa wins.
Yeah, I don't think Big T has the coordination to be able to get that down properly.
And then if you add and then you got the medicine balls throwing them through the wall, Anissa wins that one.
Well, she beat Tori in it.
Exactly.
And if Tori couldn't pull that thing
exactly
medicine balls over.
So what was? Is there any other elimination? Am I missing?
That's the other thing. So okay, I've been watching through the what we would consider one of the worst stretches, like Vendetta's, Dirty 30, just really weird.
Dirty 30's good, but
yeah. And then so I'm watching through Vendetta's right now. Mm-hmm. I can at least say they got creative with these eliminations, man. Like really, really creative, and like
the finals were the problems with those seasons.
Yeah,
and then the pacing of the show.
And so. We've just seen repeats of the same eliminations and then just like different iterations of the same elimination. It's like lack of creativity, lack of vision. I don't know.
So I was thinking about this last night because I was like, all right, this is the third Hall Brawl. No, this is the... Oh, it's the third. It's the third overall Hall Brawl. Second for Amber B. The first one was Fessy and Nelson. So
the male elimination hasn't had Hall Brawl?
I just said
since Fessy and Nelson.
No.
I'm surprised by that.
And so here's the thing. Like, I think it was maybe one of the gauntlets or one of the infernos, or maybe it was the dual one. I don't remember. But there was one season where they had 4 eliminations, and everyone knew there were 4 eliminations. And the person that got voted in got to choose from the 4. And then once it was taken, the next person going in had to choose from 3. And then once they all were gone, it reset. I think they've done that a couple times. I think if you're going to have reoccurring eliminations, you have to have a stipulation like that where you kind of have a little bit of strategy. Like, okay, I know I've got 2 eliminations to pick from. This is my best chance to go against someone. Because this, like, just recycling these, it's just like... I wasn't excited about an Amber B versus Big T Hall brawl. Like, who cares?
Exactly.
And if it was Kyle and CT still would have won.
Yeah.
It's just that's a mass thing. Like, the biggest person's more than likely going to win.
Yeah. So
we talked about it with Wes last night. Just like not without getting into it. Like, has there ever been an upset in Hall brawl? Like, if you look just like on paper, people like the bigger person.
The closest thing we've had was, if I remember correctly, CJ and Zach.
That's the one I was just thinking of.
It was
Battle of the Seasons.
Because it came down to like the speed part of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which most people would say Zach is much bigger.
Yeah.
Than CJ.
Because even in like free agents, you had the Oppenheimer, which was like basically the same thing, just in a circle, and like Kohutta went against like Zach or something like that.
Yeah.
And even though he's fast, it's just like the bigger guy just typically wins, or girl. Like it doesn't matter. Like whoever's bigger almost always wins. The only iteration that gave you a little bit of a chance is when they did a 2-on-2 Hall brawl on Rivals 2, I think.
Which was like really fun.
Yeah, so it was like
that was fun to
Marlon
watch.
and Jordyn versus like Ty and Tyree, I think. And it was like you had one
Leroy.
person. Was it Leroy?
I think it was Leroy.
Oh, I thought it was Ty and Tyree were together. They may be Leroy. But it was basically
Tyree always went home.
Yeah.
1 or 2 episodes in. So.
It was basically like you had one person who was like a gunner and one person who was like holding someone off. And so that gave you it was interesting because it wasn't as tight of a window. You could maneuver around and all that type of stuff. And I just think as much as it's iconic, you gotta I don't know, like it just these are the last 2 Hall brawls are 2 of the worst Hall brawls I've ever seen.
And of course, this is what we've been saying about Big T.
Yeah.
Right.
So CT wakes Big T up at 5 a.m. to train her. You know,
just kicks her right in the hip.
Did he?
Yeah, did he not? Did he not just kind of like?
I know he put his foot on her to like shake her.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not bending over.
Yeah.
That's because he's a little old.
He's old. It's 5 in the
He may have
morning.
back
He can't
problems.
bend over.
His bones hadn't warmed up yet.
Yeah.
I liked one. He woke her up to train her specifically for the final because CT has done tons of these, and he knows what it takes. He said that it's going to be lots of running and a lot of uphill, but I like that he did it almost exclusively bundled up in a fleece blanket with a cup of coffee.
He's like, dress warm. It's cold. He's not wrong.
No.
And you get a little montage of them doing that, and then you get the ha ha. Are we done? And he's like, we're just getting started. And
Yeah, he said it was just a
I think
warm-up.
they cut that out of order to make it funnier. But again, Big T has no idea what a final entails.
No, because she's never been to one. She doesn't know what it takes.
Oh, I know, but I mean that's what we've been saying all along. Is like there's no way she would have competed, like actually competed in a final, like well.
Well, speaking of the final, you know, now that Kyle is partnered with Big Amber, Big Amber and Little Amber.
I guess, but I don't think we've been calling her Big Amber.
That's what's been in my notes every week since then. Regardless, now that he's partnered with her, I didn't realize until he voiced his concerns, he's worried that she might gas out in a final.
Yeah, she doesn't know what it takes.
And then he said that the only 3 people in the house that have his back are Amber because they're partners, CT because he's been in the same
Which was wrong.
position, and Big T because they're friends.
Yeah, Kyle, you know, God bless him. He burns all his bridges early and people don't forget, and then he forgets that they know that.
I love him so much.
So we get to the daily Mission Global Domination.
How did you like that name?
It's fine.
I don't know how it applies.
Well, it's a globe shape, and you're running over things. So I guess It's not as bad as some of the other ones. At least it was kind of creative. So basically, you have 3 teams that are on offense, 2 teams that are on defense. 1 team gets to go twice on offense. Leroy and Casey were the last, whatever they're called, power couple. And,
Power partners.
Yeah, that. And so from there, they're like, well, we're going to get to go twice then and hopefully win.
Why would you not?
The silver globes are offense, and then the blue globes are defense. These rounds seem to be a lot longer than I expected. Because they were like, I was like, oh, it's going to be like 12 to 15 or whatever. And then they were like hitting the 40s and then 50s.
And it felt like it dragged on.
Yeah, I wonder if there was like, we got 10 minutes each round. And since everyone's going at the same time, like, we're out here. We might as well be here for a while. We drove the bus out here.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I do remember it was way before TJ said anything. I was thinking this should be almost over. TJ should just blow the horn. And then like a minute later it cuts to him and he's saying, oh, you guys have 1 minute left. I'm like, it feels like it's going
like
a long
they're 10
time.
or 15 minute rounds or something like that. And like, so when you roll over them, like, it triggers like smoke. But clearly it's not triggered by you rolling over them. There's someone off screen that's like, oh, they ran over Holeigh. Because sometimes it wouldn't trigger till they left.
Yeah, I noticed that there was one that didn't go off until like way after they had rolled off.
It's not like it's pressure sensitive. There's just some like effects guy off to the side that's just like pressing buttons. Like if you ever watched Tropic Thunder, it's what what's his name that blew his hands up did. I don't remember. But yeah, it's a fine daily. Like, I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Nani said she doesn't want to lose any bones. Which when she said that, I was like, I get not wanting to break any bones, but I was like, in what world would you lose any bones?
There's like a suction cup effect. Just
yeah, maybe she's worried like if she broke one, it would like break skin. And then
you still don't lose it.
No, listen. So like if it pops out when they roll over the thing, the smoke is actually a suction cup, like a vacuum, and it would suck the bones down, and then you would just not have them anymore.
There's a character in Mortal Kombat named Smoke. He had a fatality that kind of
it's all suction cups.
No, but he'd stick his fingers in your eyes and just inject vapor into your smoke into your body, and it made you just kind of like deteriorate.
Okay.
Cool.
Excited about the new Mortal Kombat movie.
I know you are.
It comes out in like 2 weeks.
Y'all watch the new Kong vs. Godzilla yet?
I haven't.
No,
yet.
I talked to somebody last night that said
I'm excited.
Her husband stayed up to watch it at like 2 a.m. when it dropped. Mm-hmm. He loved it.
You got to watch the second Godzilla.
Well, here's the reason why we haven't. We watched the first Godzilla. I'd already seen it. I saw it in theaters. I think with you probably.
No, we watched it in theaters together.
No.
Yes, we did.
No, we did not. We watched Kong Skull Island together in theaters, and you had not seen Godzilla, and we watched it at our old house, and you went to the hospital.
Oh God, hang on.
I did.
You okay?
Yeah. That was when I went to the. I did because we had gone to the emergency clinic beforehand, and they told me to just relax, and so we went home and watched the movie. And right in the middle of it, I started having another episode, and we had to go to the ER at 11 p.m.
Are you okay?
I am now. It took me a
few years,
a while to recover. It was 2 years ago.
We haven't watched the other one because she went.
Yeah,
to the
we never
hospital
finished
last
it.
Time.
I've need to watch it because it's a lead-in. You know?
Yeah, I figured that. Kong Skull Island is phenomenal.
Great.
Yeah,
it's great.
So anyway, why'd you ask about that? You just curious what
Mortal Kombat suction cups.
That was it.
Bones are losing. Cam and Corey admitted basically what CT was saying last week when he wanted Big T to choose a different partner, was that the plan is to send CT and Big T against Kyle and Amber. And so that was just further proof that CT was exactly right. If she stayed partners with him, it was just going to be them versus Kyle and whoever he's with at the time.
That's why she should have taken Fessy or whoever else.
Exactly.
And be
she
protected by
should
Big
have.
Brother.
And that's what Amber did.
Mm-hmm.
at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
She chose Fessy, which was the move
Well,
that
she inserted herself back into the Big Brother alliance.
But again, that's all it took.
Yeah. No, that was the right move. So we find out that only 1 point separated the top 3 teams. So I'm guessing that means first place won and then second and third tied.
Yeah.
And so Leroy and Casey win because they got to go twice. And so the second time around,
they did
literally
better.
No one was like guarding them. And
nobody really guarded them the first round.
Well, it is odd. No, it's 3-on-2 both rounds. And so Cam would be fine with them winning. And so, I mean, why not? They win. It's their 5th win.
Well, that was the thing. The second round when Cam and Corey were on defense, or no, they were on offense the second round, and because they targeted CT so much when CT was on offense, when their roles were reversed, CT just focused on stopping Cam and Corey, and she's like, that's exactly what I want. I want Leroy and Casey to do well, so yeah, spend all your time blocking me.
I think that's just happenstance. Like, it is what it is, and she just was like, "Oh, I'll take credit for that."
So we've been big fans of Leroy on this show.
Yeah,
I think by association, he has been just as boring this season
because he's like,
I really do.
Casey.
I feel like he just hasn't been a lot of fun to watch this season.
He's performed well.
He has,
Yeah,
but
I mean, Casey and him both have been like really good.
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm saying like it may be an association thing with me because she's incredibly boring, and I don't think he's been very entertaining this season.
I hope he doesn't fizzle out and like this is being his last season. Like, we're just like, he was fine. Like, I hope something comes out of it.
Yeah.
Like, again, we're spoiler free. We don't know.
So he and Casey won their 5th daily this season.
That's what I said a minute ago.
I mean, that's a lot. So despite how boring he is, by association, you say he's at least doing well, and he's trying his hardest to make himself to the final.
Again, they're good. They've been good all season, but super boring.
We'll be right back. We're back. You got anything else to say about them? I had to take an ad break.
Oh, that was just sudden.
Yeah, I know.
You normally have a lead in.
I didn't want to lead in. I just wanted to do it.
But instead, you're just like, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's efficiency.
Okay.
Speaking of Leroy
Speaking of efficiency.
and efficiency, Cam
Bubble Club.
vents to Leroy beforehand about not wanting to politic anymore. And she's like, I don't want to talk to CT and I don't want to talk to Kyle. And the thing is, once one of those two are out of the game, if they are prior to the final, like, so if Kyle gets taken out and it's just CT, what are they going to do? There's going to have to be some kind of politicking.
I mean, she can not want to do it all she wants, but I do think it's going to be from what I think 4 teams are going to make the final, because they set that up to where next episode there should be guys elimination,
And then that'll be it.
Then you're like, all right, the 4 teams that are left are going to the final. I don't know that for sure, but I think I read this is like a 19 episode season, and so this was episode 16. So if we had 17 being the last daily, the last elimination, set up a two-part final. Either that or you do a final reunion if that counts as your final episode count. So we get into the Bubble Club. Not a lot happens except that Amber B does bring up to Kyle and CT and Big T that, hey, if we all vote together, we can split this vote right down the middle, like as long as we don't turn on each other. I was like, that's actually a pretty good observation. Because
it made me wonder what happens if there's a tie with the House vote.
And I think that's what happened with CT later on. He just is too worried about that. They want to vote in Nany and Fessy, because I guess Nany has surpassed Amber B on that Big Brother alliance somehow. I guess by Josh by proxy.
She is kind of the female Josh.
Amber B or Nany?
Nany.
But also, if you look at it, if it were, I mean, it was a female elimination, but at this point they didn't know. If it comes down to a female elimination, if Nany is the female that goes in, she's the only other female that would be pretty more evenly matched for Amber or Big T.
I don't think either of them would have won against Nany, if I'm being honest.
Sorry.
But that's the better chance versus
I
Cam,
agree.
who's the only other option.
Oh, Cam would destroy any of them.
Yeah,
if Cam
exactly.
went against Hall Brawl against any of these girls, she would have killed him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they decide to do that. I get it. It makes sense. Kyle and CT then decide that they're going to have a fake fight in the deliberation room to hopefully split the vote, which I thought, hey, that's actually a pretty good plan, because if you can convince one of the remaining 4 people to split off, because I think the numbers are going a different way, your alliance has the vote, and then they get in there, and it's like they just give up on it.
They didn't do it.
Yeah. It's
Nothing.
Like, it's like, hey, we were going to do this, but we're not.
Oh, well, here's the thing that you skipped over.
It probably was
Before that, Amber B has a meeting with Casey and tells Casey how she's going to be feeling some type of way if she ends up being the house vote. And then she says in a confessional that she thinks Casey owes her for giving her an opportunity to get a skull. And then immediately after, there's a confessional of Casey saying that she doesn't think she owes Amber anything at this point. And then Fessy has a confessional where he says Amber has become very entitled in this game.
He did say, which I don't agree with that, but like all that non-drama, it's not fun.
No, it's not. But I thought that that little line where Fessy
I
said Amber's
that.
entitled, I thought that would be one that Jake really liked.
They are arguably, Casey and Amber B, the 2 most boring people in the house. Amber B's personality is weird to me. There's something off there for me.
It kind of rubs me.
It comes off like very like
sandpaper.
Well,
it's not. It's not
she's
comfortable.
Like she's trying real hard to be intense, or everything she does comes off as very trying really hard. If she's mad, she's trying very hard to portray that.
Do you think she's trying to just be like, oh, I need to play this up for TV?
Yes.
Everything just seems very
forced.
All right, so she got called fake, like the fakest person in the house at one
by Kyle.
A few points during the season, but like when I say that it comes off as very fake, I'm talking about a different kind of fake. It comes off as a very just everything, just no emotion seems natural from her. It seems very, I'm gonna get you.
I will say,
like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
I'm with you.
In one of her confessionals tonight or last night, whatever. I was like, this sounds like she like wrote this down beforehand, and it's like, oh, I've got to like put a lot of emotion behind this, and it sounds like a bad actor doing like a cold read.
And even her face, like it's just
it's like her tone doesn't match her emotions and her face, and it's just like,
and her emotions are too monotone.
Yeah, it's just like she's like, oh, I'm really gonna get him, and it's just like,
it's like when Darrell went home and she cried. I was like, why is she crying? I don't understand.
I think she's weird.
I think she's very pretty. Like that and like I think that may have clouded my judgment a little bit going in. And also we found out she is a rugby player according to Big T, which I would assume you have to have some level of toughness to be a rugby player.
Maybe she's a robot.
I was between the monotone and robotic are spot on.
Is it like what is it, Bicentennial Man?
Mm-hmm.
You think
she's Robin Williams?
She's Robin Williams. Yeah,
reincarnated. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Good Lord.
Man, loved Robin.
I did too. One of the best guys out there.
You guys talk
I
about
watched
like
Jack recently.
Really? That's a good movie.
That's a great movie. That makes me cry.
Okay, let's just cry.
Hey, have you ever seen Patch Adams?
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I've never seen Patch Adams.
Okay.
Why'd you bring it up then?
Because I wanted to know if I need to watch it.
I mean, I watched it when I was like 11.
He's just, man,
he's good at everything.
God, dude.
It's one of those things. They always say, you know, the people that always seem like the most happy and whatever, like they're the ones fighting the inner demons. And so I listen to a lot of comedy stuff, a lot of podcasts. Every person that ever met Robin Williams talked about how he was one of the nicest, most like generous people they've ever met, and they had no idea any of that was going on behind the scenes. He named his kid Zelda after the video games.
That's really cool.
Yeah, her name's Zelda Williams.
Yeah, and that's not very try-hard. It's it's the effortless cool.
Robin Williams is definitely not a try-hard. He's the great. He's the GOAT.
We should have a Robin Williams podcast.
Yeah. We should.
So they get into the deliberation room, and then CT is just like, screw you, Kyle. I'm going to vote to make sure you go in.
Well, I think he tried to start off with their planned fake fight by just opening up saying he'd rather Kyle be the vote.
But he also said, I'm afraid if we tie that the double agents will get to pick, and at least this way, Kyle for sure goes in and I don't.
So who do you think screwed that whole plan up? Was it CT's initiation of the fight or Kyle's very...
yeah, it was very fake.
CT.
It was very fake.
Yeah.
Because I watched it, I'm like, nah, that ain't working.
When they hatched this plan out, I was like, either this is going to go really well, or they're going to like show their hand that they've made all this up. And
they didn't even get to either one of those.
Well, no, Kyle tried it first. And it was like, oh, this is clearly fake.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's at this point. Look, you are so close to the final. Any sort of self-preservation, you got to do it.
But here's what I don't understand.
Okay.
My God.
It was going to be CT and Kyle anyway. Because the power partners are best friends with Nany, and they're not throwing in Nany and Fessy, and the power partners are dating Cam, and they're not throwing in Cam. The only other options are Kyle and Amber and CT and Big T. So no matter who the house vote was between the two of them, the other one's going to be thrown in by Leroy and Casey. So what was the point?
You are right, but if you're CT, instead of just conceding that, you could say you never know. They might decide that they wanted to get rid of Fessy right before the final. You don't know, and they thought it was probably a guy's day. So like, I get that, like 99%, yes, that's what's going to happen no matter what. But there is the small chance that something changes, and like, you know, Cam and Leroy could talk behind the scenes and be like, we really need to get Fessy out of here. Like, I agree. Like on paper, yeah, that was what was going to happen 99 times out of 100. But you never know. And so when Leroy and them saw that, they're like, dang, like CT, like he turned on everybody. But like, again, it's self-preservation. You got a chance at $1 million. Like, do what you got to do.
I do think it was good that CT spoke with Kyle privately afterwards to tell him.
He's like, I just want you to know I voted for you.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to lie to him.
I think that's, to me, that didn't come across as much as like, hey, I respect your feelings. It's just like, I'm tired. Yeah. I don't want to argue. Here's what happened. And he's like, I just don't want this to be a thing down the road.
Well, Kyle was really upset about it. And then he said that he was truly alone in this house.
Which is true.
Yeah.
But he's also, again, burned every bridge he's ever made. And
which makes it even more amazing that it just throughout the seasons he's been on, that he's able to last as long as he does, honestly.
I know.
Because every confessional you get, like, I don't trust Kyle. I don't trust him.
And he makes it far. This will be his, second or third final?
At least his second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he made it his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
So Kyle and Amber B are compromised, obviously. They get down to the crater.
It's tall brawl. You just look at it and you know.
Yeah, TJ does the whole, it's a big night for the men to watch the women. And Kyle looked like...
He did an about face and looked straight at CT in total shock. Like, can you believe it?
It's like he got his Christmas wish granted, where they're like...
Or his Make-A-Wish.
Well, he's not dying.
He almost was.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
In a hall brawl versus CT?
Yeah, he would have lost that, more than likely. Yeah, again, like, at the very worst, he would have been hurt.
Quite the swerve, though, because this is the first time, not as a result of a DQ or someone quitting, that...
Back-to-back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we didn't at any point hear that, right? That, like...
And there's conspiracy, whatever. They're like, oh, they don't want CT to go out. And, like, I don't think that's it. I just think they're like, we got Amber B and Big T going to the final. We'd rather have Kyle and CT going to the final.
And they're better TV.
Exactly. And they would probably...
Oh, can you imagine how much more boring that house would be if you lose either Kyle or CT?
Exactly. And
it'd be awful.
If you get to a final and you're like, well, these two people didn't make it past the first part of it. Like, Kyle and CT are going to finish or get close.
Yeah.
So I think, honestly, this could have been production being like, let's let one of these go home instead.
Yeah, because
at the end of the day, it is still a TV show.
Yeah, the last week was women's elimination, so this one should have been male.
Yeah. And again, unless there's something else coming down the road, we don't know.
And somebody's going to get in a tizzy over that. But it's like any television show, reality or, just produce storylines, right? Like your sitcoms or whatever. If some character turns out to be a big hit, guess what? They're going to write them in more.
You know who was not the lead in the show when it started? Steve Urkel. He was just supposed to be the wacky neighbor next door, and the crowds loved him, and he became the star of the show.
Yeah.
And like
I didn't even call that show Family Matters.
Called it Urkel.
I want to watch Urkel.
Yeah. And that's what happened everywhere, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't realize it, but this is our star."
Yeah.
And they completely rewrote the show.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you've gone back and watched that show recently.
I have, but not all the way through.
Okay. When they get to like the last season, those writers just
gave up.
They go off the rails. They're like, "Oh, all right, he's a scientist. We're going to shrink everybody down to the size of cereal, and they're going to go on a ship and be in space," and like they just lose their minds.
That's not even real.
It's pretty wild.
Do you think it's because like they were told, "Hey, this is the last season.
I don't even
make
know.
it great, make it memorable," and they're
just,
like, "Let's just do everything we can think of."
I just think they're like, "What haven't we done at this point?" Yeah.
So that the same rule applies for reality television.
It's got to be entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, regardless, this is Hall Brawl with Big T and Big Amber. Big T called this her worst nightmare, and then that's when we find out that Amber plays rugby, which, okay, that's impressive. And then immediately after that, they are just the preview montage on the inside of the hall.
Which was a cool visual effect.
It was cool, but...
Did you notice that? They like took the last stuff that they've won and like put it on the inside wall. Like Amber's was on this side and then Big T's was on this side, like staring down the hall. It was just like a visual effect. It was nice. But they had this like big montage of them like psyching themselves up, and I was like, this is not going to be something like, no matter who wins, it's not going to be like, wow, can you believe this elimination?
Yeah, no, that's more of something you would do with Fessy versus Nelson, when it's going to be something worth watching.
Or when you had like Wes versus Bananas, like finally, like after they teamed up or whatever. This was just like they're psyching us up because they didn't have enough content to go on. Which again, they cut it back down to only an hour episode because guess who's left in the house? People who are not that fun to watch.
I don't think that was a weird occurrence either. I think they didn't have much material to work with because you've got some of the most boring people to ever be on this show still in the house.
I think you were going to be like, if the only thing you'd do to add 20 more minutes would be like, let's add some more confessionals of Amber B being upset that Casey's turning on her, and then have a little bit more montage of training with Big T. Like, there's just not much else to do. And I think it's a good idea that they cut this episode down. I think this might have been the worst episode of the season.
Maybe.
Yeah, I felt like that.
So it's the best of 2 rounds. There's a buzzer on the other side. Pretty simple. Amber B wins round 1 pretty easily. Like, she meets Big T like 60% of the way across, and then they just lock up for a little bit. And then you get past her and you run, and then Amber beats her in a foot race.
Big T did a little better than I expected her to do.
She did better in the second round.
She went low. She held Amber in her spot for a minute or two. She put up a fight. But if she's going to come back on this show, I think she needs to train specifically for this show. And I mean, CT personally trained her, told her
for one morning.
Let me get my point across. He personally trained her to show her this is what you need to do to prepare for this show and for this final. Now that she knows what she needs to be doing, she can do that in the off season.
Do you think she will? Because this is her 3rd season of the show. I get that she went home like 2 days
really
in
early
the first season.
But this is the furthest she's ever gotten. And I think because she got this far and she enjoyed it and she did well in some things. She did great in that elimination versus Anissa. She did great in the 2 swimming dailies that she and CT won. Did they win?
She was a partner with CT for the second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, she did great in both of those dailies.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that may have just maybe lit a spark in her, like, oh, I want to be good at this now. So if she can go home and she can train properly, specifically for the challenge, I want her to. If she's going to come back, I want her to do well.
I would still put my money on her never making a final.
I think she will be back for sure.
Yeah.
I think this might be the furthest she goes. This is a really good season for her. As far as just longevity, sticking around. She did win an elimination. Although that was, again, like we said, probably the one elimination Anissa didn't have a chance at. But she did still win, so you got to give her that win.
And she won well.
Yeah,
because her skill set was built for that.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that. I think we gave her the awards at the end of that. Again, she's 29. She's not a 19 or 20-year-old. Like, I don't think she's gonna train as hard to come back, and maybe she will, and hopefully she'll prove me wrong. But I don't know. There's just some people that have been on this show throughout the years. They're just like, this person's never going to be a real threat. And it's fine. People like those people. Big T personally is probably one of the nicest people that's ever been on the show, other than Mike, rest in peace, who's not dead. But we only got one season out of him.
Oh, I'd love to get him on another one. I don't think we ever will.
No. But that's the thing. Mike actually did make a final, though. He
did.
Yeah.
And then they had to quit the last leg of it.
Yeah, because he couldn't do it. Again, there's just people who are not ready for this type of stuff. And Big T, go prove us wrong. I mean...
Yeah, we're not, rooting. I'm not rooting against it.
No, it's just I think from the beginning we were just she's not a threat in this game. And, maybe the game has tipped too far in the way of, you've got to be a hardcore athlete. But to a certain extent, we had a lot of seasons where...
We had no athletes.
Well, we had hard finals. You didn't have professional athletes, I guess. Yeah. But even those seasons, I don't think she would have lasted in a final. Round 2, Amber wins that. It's over. I mean, that's just what it was.
It was nice for CT to run up and congratulate Big T and tell her how proud he is of her and how she needs to be proud of herself, not only for putting up the fight in this elimination, but for everything that she's accomplished in this season.
Given the last 2 seasons, this is a heck of a season for her.
And I think she surprised a lot of people. She was really underestimated by a lot of people in the house, and he wanted to be sure to vocally tell her, hey, you did a lot of really good this season. Remember that.
I don't think I think you were just shaking your head just to
Yeah.
But it's just,
no, I wasn't disagreeing with you.
It looks like you were fervently disagreeing.
No
way.
No, she had a good showing for Big T.
Yeah, I agree. But I think she outpaced what we expected from her.
Yeah, and she was proud of herself when she left, and that's what matters.
I just didn't know if you had anything else to add to that. Amber gets to pick who her partner is, and I was just don't go back into the alliance, force them to protect you again.
Yeah, she did what Big T should have done last week.
Yes,
smart move by her.
Yes, 100%. Now Fessy was very visibly not stoked about it up top, but then when he got down, he's like, "Yeah, let's go."
Yeah,
but he
said he's disappointed.
Yeah.
And then he said, once again, I'm stolen as a partner. And that was very cocky of him to say in the way that he said it. For what he said about Amber, what did he say? Entitled? He sounded really entitled himself when he said that. And I was just like, that's kind of hypocritical, but whatever.
I think it's both. Yes, it is entitled, but also he is a big asset in the game.
He is the big asset in the game.
Yeah.
I think.
At this point, I think Leroy's the bigger asset because
I'd put Fessy.
Leroy's that's the big knock of Leroy. He's never won.
Leroy's
I'm talking about alliance wise because they will turn on Fessy before they'll turn on Cam.
I do agree with that.
And Casey. And Casey will too. Because Casey's real tight with Leroy and Casey and Fessy have not been super tight.
I feel like it would be very hard for her to turn on that Big Brother alliance. Except for Amber for some reason. Yeah, like, I mean, Fessy, like, he's the guy that you're going to steal. CT, you might can make an argument for, except that at this point, the age difference is, but like CT says, like, my wins have all been recent, compared to how long he's been on the show. So,
with Fessy being stolen as a partner, that means Nany has to choose a new partner, and it's between CT and Kyle. I thought it was really funny that they both begged her to take the other one
because they know Rogue Agent.
You can't go into elimination,
and it's got to be the final after this next one. It's got to be.
It has to be a guy's elimination next week.
Yeah,
because you have a guy Rogue Agent, so you have to have a female partner that's free. And so, yeah, both of them were like, please do not pick me. And it wasn't in like a jerk way. It was a complete strategy way.
Like, please, I want to be safe from this.
And then Nany was just like, I just want to have fun. Let's go, Kyle.
Yeah, so
which is
stupid.
Very out of character for her, honestly.
I know.
Very out of character.
And here's the thing. The whole reason she left Kyle a second time, this is her third time being partnered with Kyle. Last time,
but what else would you expect from her?
It doesn't make any sense because when it came down to it, I said to myself, "There's no way she's not picking CT because she couldn't wait to get away from Kyle last time and go to Fessy because
CT's a proven winner. Too.
Yeah, but also because she and Kyle were driving each other crazy.
Here's the thing.
But she did say a couple episodes ago that she missed Kyle and regretted switching to Fessy. What, like not even a full episode in?
Yeah, no, it was less than 24 hours. Fessy and his negative energy wore her down so much
in a matter of hours
that she just was like, "Give me the fun guy," and I mean, I think that just shows you how not fun.
Yeah,
some of these Big Brother people are.
That should speak.
Yeah, the fact that she went to him for fun,
which Kyle is arguably the funnest person left on the cast.
No, it's a true statement.
Yeah,
but that's why that pick happened is because he's fun.
She was like, you know what? I had arguably the best athlete here, and I hated every minute of it. Give me the fun guy, even if we don't win. And you know what?
We're saying the same thing. Give us the fun guys.
I agree.
Give us the fun guys.
Give us the fun guys.
We're all Nany in this situation.
And girls are included in that. Like, before anybody gets...
Give me Kyle.
Give us the fun people.
Yeah, 100%. Like, just give us the people that are entertaining.
Yes.
Yeah. And so...
I also still think Big T's on the wrong show.
Yeah.
If we're talking about the fun people.
I agree.
So Nany ran to Kyle, and then he immediately says...
He was so upset.
He said, I hate you, Nany.
Yeah.
Because he's going to have to win the daily, or he's going into elimination.
He knows I'm going into the elimination.
He's like, I know for a fact they're targeting me now.
It's
CT knows, I got a free ride to the final, basically.
Yeah. It's going to be... It's going to be Leroy or Fessy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But it won't be Hall Brawl.
Mm-hmm. So with CT being the rogue agent, he said, I think I'm in the final. And then Casey said, that was so dumb.
It was a dumb move from like just a strategy standpoint.
Oh, it's going to be Leroy, Fessy, or Corey. God, Corey was non-existent on this episode.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
I forgot Corey was on here.
The one thing, going into this is, I completely blanked on Corey as well.
I forgot. I totally forgot.
None of the Big Brother Alliance this whole time has been trying to keep CT out of the final. And then...
More so than Kyle.
And then Nany just gave him a pass right to it, it seems.
Because this whole season started out with, let's get all the vets out, all the champs.
Yeah.
Let's attack the champs. Which, I mean, it took a while for Darrell to get out, but whatever.
Again, he just flew under the radar. Like, because he was kind of...
like they forgot about him.
He was grandfathered into that Big Brother Alliance because...
Amber.
They're just like, oh, you came from that show? We're on an alliance together. Again, I do think, looking back, I would almost definitively say this was the worst episode of the season.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah. I was super bored. I couldn't wait for it to be over.
Hannah didn't even realize we'd watched the whole episode because we talked to you later.
Yep.
She's like, "Oh, we still got more to watch," and I was like, "No."
Well, I was confused because I went to her and she said we ain't even finished watching it yet, and I thought
it was earlier tonight.
By the way, we had just finished watching it like an hour before.
I had talked to him prior, and he said that you guys had already watched it, and I was like, "Oh, well, maybe they're not on the same page." Something.
No, because we watched it. I had to leave the house at 5:30. And so we watched it, and we finished at like 5:33.
Mm-hmm.
And I got up, ran upstairs, threw my shoes on, and walked out the door. And then after we were done with whatever we were doing, Jake walked up to me. I'm trying to because Zach kicked your cord and pulled your mic all the way down while you were talking. And so it looks like you're trying to fix it, so I'm trying to fill air.
No, you're good. You're good, hand. I thought you were making a good point, so keep going.
I thought you were trying to fix your mic.
No,
so I was just talking so there wasn't dead air.
Yeah, the shield.
Oh.
Whoa. Let's not do that again. So this is the end of the episode. Would hoodoo
Hoodoo, woodoo, you do.
Who smashed some heads tonight?
It took me... I almost put no one because this was such a boring episode.
It's not a good win for Amber B. Like, it's just
you
did what you needed to do.
I ended up putting CT to Kyle because he voted Kyle in, and Kyle was really upset about it.
Jake,
who smashed some heads? I'm gonna give it to Nani for the revelation that we just want the fun people.
So I was gonna give her the next one. So. By default, but I'm going to give it, I guess, to Leroy and Casey because they've won 5 dailies, and no one else has come close to that. So who got their head smashed?
Kyle by Amber being his partner, then by CT for voting him in, and then by Nani for stealing him as a partner over CT.
I agree with that.
Big T because she had to wake up at 5 a.m.
That's never fun. You give it to Corey because we all forgot he was on this episode. You know what? I'm gonna give it. We all did because this is the worst episode of the season.
I'll take it.
We all got our.
I'll take the L.
Song of the week.
Middle of the Night by Monsta X.
By what now?
Middle of the Night.
Monstars.
The song is Middle of the Night. And the K-pop group is Monsta X. It's a catchy little song. I really like it.
Jay, what's yours?
That band I let you listen to tonight, Waybridge.
It's pretty good.
The song is called Use.
I liked it.
The whole EP, this EP is from 2019. It's called Limbic Resonance. Great song. Waybridge. It's spelled Weigheigh.
It's like a protein. Whey protein.
Bridge. Song is called Use, and it is explicit.
I like that you spelled bridge. I don't... I'm just looking through my liked songs on Spotify because I didn't write one down.
Give him Comeback Kid or something.
I'm very close. I'm going to give him Modern Life is War and the song Dead Ramones.
Okay.
It's very similar to Comeback Kid. Listen to Modern Life is War. That's my pick for this week. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with fantasy stuff. All right, we're back. Jake, do you want to get us going?
Yeah, this segment's brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Eat fresh.
Also, I think we discussed this is probably going to be the lowest scoring segment of the
definitely the
season.
Least amount of points handed out in just a given fantasy segment.
Let's get rolling.
Big T struggled with the previously intro, -5.
Oh.
CT got sparkled, 10 points to CT. Casey knows about loyalty, 5 points. Cam could carry Kyle, 5 points.
That's true.
This segment's already boring.
It is.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie.
is.
It really is.
Jeez.
Big T gets woke up at 5 a.m, -5. But it's a training montage. 10 points to CT and Big T. Let's see. That was just a warm-up, though. -5 to Big T. Let's see. Casey and Leroy win the daily. 25 points each.
That's probably going to be your only points.
Yeah. Cam is nervous. -5. Amber B is turncoating. 10 points to her because she did something.
Oh, my bad.
Kyle and CT being sneaky. 5 points. But nothing happened. -10 because that plan was not. That didn't go well. CT double crossed Kyle. 10 points to CT for the double cross. -5 to Kyle for being double crossed. Let's see. But at least CT's honest about it. 5 points to CT. We reward honesty around here.
Sure. Yeah.
-10 to Kyle and Amber B for being compromised. Also, TJ... -10 to Amber B and Big T because TJ pulled a fast one on them, and it's a girls' elimination.
God, that one hit me hard.
Hey, Amber B plays rugby. 5 points. Nani thinks that Amber B knows the proper form for Hall Brawl after facing Amber M. That's a bad take. -5 to Nani. Amber B wins 50 points. Big T loses -25. Corey had the statement she's definitely earning her Rookie of the Year title.
I think that is
-10 to Corey.
That's egregious.
Yes, that's a
Do -5.
no. That's a.
I'm the
that is
closest to catching up to Zach, and I don't. He's so far.
That is a bad take.
Also, that is compromising the integrity of this game.
Yeah, we're not.
Fine.
Amber B is still not impressive. -5.
She won, and he's giving me -5.
Yeah. But 10 points to her because it was a smart move to steal Fessy.
It was.
Nani with the swerve, 5 points. And you know what? Let's give her an additional 10
That's
for
fine.
reminding us
We need the fun
we
people.
need the fun
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
CT safe, 5 points. Kyle is screwed, -5. And those are your fantasy points.
Wow, what a night.
Yeah. Are we taking a break?
Yeah, we will be right back.
And we're back again. This fantasy segment here, this boring fantasy segment, brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
Eat fresh.
I wasn't too excited about saying that one.
I'm trying to bring the fun to this show.
Okay,
All right,
so-
guys. Here, this one did not take that long to edit everything. To add everything up. Definitely the lowest scoring week by far, like total. So for Hannah, Fessy got 0. Just didn't even get any points. Like, not that he got some that canceled each other out. He just didn't get on the board.
Yeah.
Right.
The number one, arguably, prospect on the show didn't make an impact in any sort of drama or anything like that.
Yep.
Great. Kyle ended up getting you -25. Corey got you -10.
Of course.
Cam canceled herself out to get 0. Nani pulling through with a solid 10. You came away with -25 for the week.
Ooh, hand.
Great.
CT got me 35. Leroy got me 25, which was only his daily win. Amber B got me 50, but then Big T got me -40. So I ended up with 70 for the week. Jake, you got 30 because Casey got you 30.
Hey.
So Jake is in third place with 485. Hannah is in second with 740. And I just broke the 4 digits, 1,020.
Hey, I'm catching up to hand, though.
You are. You know how big of a turnaround that would be if only Casey brought you up and then she kept getting negative?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. I lost another player. Jake only has 1 player left. I have 3. Hannah still has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But they're not pulling much for you. You got the longevity, but you're not getting the scoring. So, it is what it is. I can't help one way or the other. It's just this season is. What are you going to do? Nothing I can do about it. This is Jake's scoring, which, by the way, if you have not been to our Patreon, we did a fantasy draft for the All-Stars cast. And
we're not going to tell you who we drafted.
Yeah, we're not going to tell you who we drafted. Go listen to it. It's patreon.com/SmashingHeadsPodcast. It is, I think at this point, it's the second most recent post.
And we'll leave this little tease. One person didn't even get picked.
Because it's not 22 is not divisible by 3, but 21 is.
So,
and guess what?
That's the math.
Also, that person is now an alternate if someone gets medically DQ'd.
But you'll never know who that alternate is.
Alternate.
Unless you go to www.patreon.com/SmashingHeadsPodcast and become a supporting patron and jump in on all the fun.
Free agents or blood levels. Blood
level.
Blood donors.
Yeah, so...
Blood brothers.
Favorite band in high school. Check that out. As I said at the top of the show, the Wes interview is coming. It will be on Patreon first. Will be ad-free. It'll be on YouTube as well at some point, the video version.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Do you have something to say about that?
I was about to say in the video version, but then you just said it.
We're on the same page. So check that out. Again, patreon.com. It supports the show directly. And also, like Hannah said, SmashingHeadsPodcast.com/store will take you to a Threadless page. And you know what? You might see Wes floating around in some Smashing Heads shirts soon.
Oh, yeah, you might.
Other than that, follow us on social media at Smashing Heads and at Smashing Heads Podcast on at Smashing Heads on Twitter, at Smashing Heads Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. So I don't have anything else to say. I'm sorry that this episode of TV wasn't as good. Ashley Mitchell is right. Give us the entertainers. Nani was right. Give us the fun people.
Love the people close to you. Have fun doing it. And have a good night, everyone.